welcome to the world's most famous podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Maddison. Today we have a very special guest, Italia Tornabene, a multi-passionate entrepreneur, certified life coach, nonprofit founder, and luxury wine connoisseur. Through her ventures, she empowers women, raises community consciousness, and builds a legacy of elegance and purpose. Get ready to be inspired by her bold journey, unshakable faith, and unstoppable ambition. Let's dive right in. Well, it's such an honor to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive right in, Natalia. Well, tell us about your story. I know that it's an incredible story of overcoming setbacks and obstacles. You started on the streets. Give us your backstory.
Well, I went from homelessness to now I own 9 businesses, very successful businesses. I had my son very, very young and didn't really have any direction. I love my parents, but they were very uneducated and also very, very poor. So I didn't really have much financial backing. You know, when I come home at 17 and I'm like, I'm pregnant, you know,
Yeah.
sorry, pregnant at 16, had him at 17, but it was kind of like, well, you're on your own, you know, we can barely afford our kids. So
Yeah.
pretty much was on my own. And then it just taught me, you know, we all have roadblocks in life, right? We all hit a little bump in the road, and it's true, right? And
Yeah.
when you have a kid, it's like you're living for somebody else, so you have more of a responsibility on your shoulder. And it kind of just taught me, he taught me resilience, and he taught me to push forward because, you know, I did it really for him, not really for myself, but it just drove me to get over any kind of obstacle I had in my way. I'm like, I've got to feed this kid. I got to put a roof over his head. We were homeless multiple times. When I finally got a car, though, we were at least homeless in a car. But
Right.
the first couple of times, you know, it was hard. It was hard, but it taught me a lot in life. And it's all about the journey, right? It's not about the end
It's
result. It's all about the journey.
totally. Well, I think Earth is like God's school for us, you know, and I think that we are meant to be challenged and to grow in our character. And life is not easy. I don't care whatever anybody tries to tell you. It's not, whether you're at the bottom or you're at the top. You know, we all have, like you said, challenges, and they're character building. And I think we're meant to learn lessons, and sometimes we just learn them the hard way. But even in hindsight, some of the greatest lessons I ever learned in life came from some of the worst experiences I ever had.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think us as humans, our whole purpose on this earth, like everybody always says, find your purpose, find your purpose. Our purpose is to live a purposeful life. And that is to help each other. We've all had different experiences. We've all had different journeys. And if you look at my books, I've written 6 books. Every single one of them is either based off of a true story, or they're lessons that I've learned that I've passed on. So books will be here for generation and generations to come, right? So I wrote Easy Investing. It was something very small, and I started investing when I was homeless. And as I was writing my autobiography, you know, my sister and my mom are reading through it chapter by chapter. My sister goes, "This is really interesting." Because I was estranged from my family the whole time I was trying to survive, you know? And
Wow.
she's like, "This is really interesting. You need to write a book about this." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah." So I did. You know, it's my bestseller. It's one of my bestsellers, you know,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
if we
Well, I
keep,
think a powerful story would become a bestseller because you have so much to impart to others.
yeah, and I would love that. I just think if we all are able to pass down our knowledge and our horrible, you know, experiences that we might go through, we got through it because we might be stronger than the person next to us going through the same exact experience, and we can help that person get over it and help that person get through it. And that's what we as humans should be doing, is passing down
I agree,
our
100%.
yeah.
You know, I think we could have like a taste of heaven on earth, because I say in heaven, everybody loves everybody. You know,
Yeah.
imagine a world where we really truly did love one another. And what does love do? Love cares for the other, provides for the other, protects the other. You know, what a different world we could live in. And I love where this is going. I mean, this is a beautiful conversation. I want to track with your journey a little bit, though. Tell us, what was your first business that you started, and how did you ultimately get to 9 businesses now? And I'd like to know what they are.
Okay, so a few of those businesses I'm faceless, so I prefer to keep it that way. It's kind
Sure.
of okay. But I started my entrepreneurship journey started when I was very, very young. So I had a cookie stand on the corner. We lived on the corner of a cul-de-sac. So I had little cookies out there, chocolate chip cookies that I baked. And I think I sold those probably for, I don't know, back day, probably $1, maybe 50 cents,
Yeah.
had a lemonade stand. And I'm talking like I was old enough. I wasn't really young. Like now you see on social media, these little girls doing it or these little kids doing it. How cute, right? No, I was at an age where it wasn't like cute. Like, look at this little girl doing it. I was like, no, I need some money.
You're
You know?
right. How
And,
funny. But yeah, but I hear you. It's like at a young age, you had that drive to
and then
make money and make it.
yeah, I wanted to learn the drums. And I've always been very passionate about music. And my mom said, I can't afford that. It's very expensive to learn an instrument, even back then. And my mom said, what I do for one, I have to do for the others. And I'm sorry, I can't afford it. So I was like, okay. So I stepped up my game a little bit as far as my selling cookies and stuff. I started going around the cul-de-sac and pulling weeds, planting flowers, mowing lawns. And I got like, I think it was like $250 a week to take these courses. And I learned how to play the drums at a very, very young age. And
I love that. Are you an 80s baby by chance?
86, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm 83, but our parents had this we can't afford it mentality, which
Oh, yeah.
I think it drove our generation completely insane, and that's why we became so innovative. And I too, my parents were very poor, and we moved from South Africa, etc. But we have this innovation, this drive to, despite lack, despite having nothing, we utilize our resources and we build and create and succeed despite all odds. And I think that's fantastic. So go on.
We're breaking our generational curse.
Amen. Yes.
And then let's see, after that, I didn't do anything, I'd say entrepreneurship until I was homeless again. So when I was homeless, my mom found out I was homeless and said, come home. So I went back home and trying to figure out something to do, but I'm a very good cook.
Ooh.
And I love making Mexican food is like my favorite, right? So
yeah, I love Mexican food too.
Love it. And I started making these chicken shredded tacos, and I would do like taquitos because I would be able to, it was something that I can afford on food stamps, and I would turn it around and go try to sell it. So I would go to the car dealerships in this little small town called Victorville. And I'd go to the car dealerships, this hungry car salesman, and I had this little cooler full of soda and a cooler full of taquitos and tacos, chicken shredded tacos, and I would sell out within a couple hours, but still it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And that's not how you operate like a catering business, right? So one day I went into the dealership and I was like, hey, I want to get a job here. And I ended up selling cars after that. And then I went to college for criminal justice and legal studies and law. And then I started working for the government. And when I started working for the government, I was like, what can I do with my degrees? I wanted to do something on the side. And I started a paralegal business. And I wanted to help other people going through family law. And so that was the business that I started. It went great. Everything was going good. And then everything you can file went online. So my business almost shut down overnight when the court systems. Yeah. So, right. I mean, but it was okay. I learned a lot. I learned about, building a business, the fundamentals of it. And then.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I think that the book of our lives has many chapters, and those chapters close for a reason, but everything you did was preparing you for the next opportunity, your progression of growth, and that's the journey of life, because we're ever evolving and becoming I believe that our purpose is to become who God created us to be. And that is a progression of growth and evolution of self. So,
I completely agree. You took the words out of my mouth. It is an evolution, your journey evolution. And you're right. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
The journey is amazing.
Totally difficult. I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's hard. Yeah.
But I think we build that resilience, and you kind of have to have a fight in your spirit. So I'm a Christian, and in the Bible, the Lord talks about the fight of faith. Because for me, I always see the entrepreneurial journey, which I am an entrepreneur, obviously, as a leap of faith. You're believing in this dream nobody else can see, And so it is kind of like a fight of faith. And no matter what happens, or doors close, or businesses fail, you get back in the fight, and you just keep believing in your dream that only you can see. And God kind of meets you. He's with you all the way. Yeah. It's incredible.
Very, very true. Very
Yeah.
true.
So now tell us the story behind Empower Her Journey. That's something you're working on. Tell us about that and what's the aha moment that birthed
Uh,
that
I
venture?
I've always done philanthropy work. I've always worked in homeless shelters because when I was homeless, there's a few things that really stuck out to me, and that was people don't call you by your name, and it's you almost forget your name.
Ah,
You're just another homeless person on the street. You're just another person checking in at the shelter. You kind of forget that, right? And then
yeah.
another thing was, the eating. Meals were very scarce, and you have to stand in line. You get what you get, and that's pretty much it. So when I was able to get on my feet and go help people, I started volunteering at these homeless shelters, usually on holidays. I always have fun, like it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, it's a lot of fun. But when I was crowned Miss New York,
Oh,
I had to do philanthropy work. And I got pushed back into it after years of just focusing on the businesses and, just forgetting about it.
yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to a homeless shelter. I really enjoyed it. And I was having fun. I was going to the Bowery mission like every week, having
Yeah.
fun. And then, you know, I started looking at the people that were in there and how they were helping them. And there's different reasons why people are homeless. Some of it's mental health, some of it is drugs, some of it is because they choose to be, whatever the case is, But I realized that yes, they're feeding them, yes, they've given them a place to sleep, but I didn't see any long-term help.
Mm,
And I just started thinking like, how can I help people that I guess you would say want to help themselves, right?
right. Yeah.
And so, as a woman business owner, and you'll understand this, I've been taken advantage of so many times, and especially when you don't know what you're doing. We all go into building a business blind. It's a very costly mistakes that you make. You meet snakes that they're called sharks for a reason.
Right.
And people in business, they're sharks. I've learned to be one myself, but without stepping on toes. But I decided to start Empower Her Journey so I can help other single mothers that are entrepreneurs. I want to give them grants to help them get started. I also want to be able to help them and guide them along the way. Like, hey, let's grow your business with this. Let's scale it with this. Just mentorship and connections and grants. Definitely want to do the grant funding.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's incredible. And, I believe a lot of our hardship phase in our life is preparing us for our purpose. Like you, look, you've done just that. You're going back to the women, people who are in the position you once were, and you're helping them get out. And so it was necessary,
All
even
of
though
it.
it's hard. And so, what mission drives your current coaching practice? Because you're coaching women, you're mentoring, and how does it align with your core personal values now in the woman that you are today?
It's almost selfish because I get the best high from helping other people. Like I will stop if my assistant's having a crisis, like a personal crisis, and she's texting me, I will literally stop what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what email I'm on, where I'm at. I'm like, sometimes you get focused on your business and you're just like, you're in it, right? I will drop
Right.
everything and I'll talk to them. It's and help them get through it. And it feels so good. It feeds my soul.
Yeah.
And, just living a purposeful life. I've turned every single business that I have into a mission.
I love
Everything that I
that.
do, all my books that I have, everything is to help other people and to help other people evolve and grow. And that's what I want to leave this earth known by,
That is beautiful. And again, it resonates with sort of my Christian faith that
Yeah.
Jesus teaches us that the greatest of all among you will become the servant of all. And so that's why, like what you're doing, and in my mindset and everything I'm doing and contributing is with an attitude of servitude, you know,
Yeah.
for others.
It's fulfilling, right?
Yeah,
I just wish
absolutely.
everybody would do that though. Could you imagine if everybody on this earth, all the knowledge that they had, all the skills that they had, if everybody just worked to help everybody else, this world would be such a beautiful place.
I know, I know. So, how do you help women tap into their inner strength and build confidence? Let's say a
I
woman who doesn't have it and she needs help.
I always start with a vision board. I always start with the vision
Mm.
board. And the reason why that's important is because not everybody believes in God, not everybody's spiritual, and I
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to pivot around everybody else's beliefs. And I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in manifestation. I believe in positive talking, positive, having a positive mindset no matter what situation you're in. And I will teach these women, when they're down and out, I'm like, hey, well, even if it's a breakup or a heartbreak,
Right.
first
Yeah.
living life for a month or two, what did you learn? You had to learn something. Don't look back, but what did you learn? And let's grow and progress and let's evolve with that, or it
Yeah.
could be a job that they lost and they've been in that job for 10 years. You had 10 years of knowledge, 10 years of knowledge that you now can harness. You could put that into your own business, start your own business. You might have another door open for you that's going to give you twice the salary that you had before, so I really try to help women or just people really overcome, any obstacles that
Yeah.
are stopping them from evolving and
Yeah.
growing.
I love that. So what are some of like the most common emotional roadblocks that you help people overcome or that you encounter? Is it
With
insecurities, fear? What is it?
what the business scaling, it comes down to they're not to them losing their vision. Because
Mm.
I get it as an entrepreneur, we have this vision, this is what we want, and then things don't fall into place the way that they're meant to be or that you thought they would be, and you start giving up. You start saying,
Mm.
I'm done with this. I'm getting frustrated. I love helping people at that point because I'm like, let's look at what you've done. Let's look at what we can do,
Yeah.
and let's do it, at a costly rate. So it's not hurting you. It's just going to help you, And
Yeah.
then when it comes to personal stuff, a lot of it is heartbreaks, losing the job. It's just regular or trying to lose weight, addictions. It's just a lot of life obstacles that we all face in one capacity or another. And just helping them realize that their true potential, a lot of it has to do with self-discipline, self-awareness, communication. And so I do teach them those skills because it's so important. Self-discipline, it does something to our brain and chemistry when you accomplish a task and when you see something all the way through, when you're able to overcome stuff and it helps you evolve. I love helping people through that. I love it.
I love it too. Like you said all the like the key phrases, self-discipline, self-awareness. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So why do you believe mentorship is crucial for women? And is your practice specifically for women in business or men and women?
I target women, but throughout all my other businesses, it's really funny because I end up communicating with all kinds of people, men
Yeah.
and women, and helping all of them. So it's just a matter, I target women because I am a woman and I've been there where most of them have been, and I know I can help them more.
Right.
But a lot of people come to me. It doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. Um,
But why do you believe mentorship is crucial for somebody who, let's
I,
say, is struggling?
yeah, because we're human. We need to have communication. We need to have connections with people, and especially people that are understanding and listening to us, because otherwise we're in the dialogue of our own head, right? How do we know what's like? You may look at a situation and be like, that is unreasonable. That's insane, And then you call your friend, and your friend's like, well, actually, that's not unreasonable. That's not insane. Look at it from this perspective,
Yeah.
And then you have that, okay, well, maybe I will look at it from this way. It's important that we have that communication and connection with other human beings so we can evolve.
It's
It's
so
stuck in our
true.
own head. Yeah, it's like seeing a therapist. It's good for you because that therapist is going to give you coping skills and give you tools to help you, get through whatever you're going through.
Right, absolutely. So now how do you measure success in your coaching journey? Are there milestones that you set with clients, or is it just personal growth and transformations?
It's both. So when we have a vision board, that's more of a long-term thing. I have them do a short-term, mid-term, and long-term, So what do you
Hmm.
want to accomplish in the next 3 months? And then every day I make sure that they're working towards that goal, within those 3 months and they're tracking it. And when I hop on a call with them, or if it's an email, or if it's a text message, I'm like, what did you do today? What did you do towards that goal? And every day they're doing something, even if it's just, sometimes we get burnt out. We're human. Even if it's just checking your email, responding to one email. Okay, fine. I'm putting it away for the day and that's it. I just make sure that all my clients are on track to accomplish their goals. And if it's not a vision board, if it's the business, it's the same thing. It's just checking in with them checking in with me, making sure like, hey, this is where I'm at, or this is what I accomplished today, or this is the roadblock I had today. And we'll talk it through, figure out an action plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Oh, just incredible. So, what does empowerment truly look like in action for a man or woman?
Good question. I think empowerment is really harnessing your true your power, like your superpower. We all have one, right? We all have it, and it's just taking that and building your dream life out of it. Yeah, it's empowering
Absolutely. Like,
people.
there was a time in my life where I lost everything and I had nothing. And I was like, I realized, wow, when you realize you don't need anything kind of material, you realize you already have everything you need. And, right? We are a wealth of resources within the natural God-given gifts and talents that we're born with, that if we just utilize them and start activating them by doing it grows. It's incredible.
And it's empowering, and that's the
It's
empowerment.
empowering. That's right. I saw a quote somewhere which I love, and it said something like, imagine the woman that you want to become, the habits she would have, the disciplines, the things she would do. So every day, do those. But you're so right about the rest. There's some days where I have a never-ending to-do list, obviously, but I love it. But some days I'm not doing anything today. Like, I need to just completely rest.
That's healthy. Yeah, that's healthy. Sometimes I tell my assistants that when they get snippy or they'll get like burnt out, I'm like, hey, you're on your own time. This project isn't done till then. Take a week off. Take 2 days off. Take whatever you want. Your mental health is so important. So important.
So important. It's true. So you also started Tornabene wine, is that correct? So you have your own wine brand.
I do, and it's going very well. It's so exciting. It's funny because I never really would have thought I would have had a wine brand. I'm not a big drinker. I am not a wino.
I don't drink alcohol either, but
yeah, I'm not a wino. I'm not a big drinker. If I do have a drink, it's usually champagne or a glass of wine, and that's it. I am lightwait,
Right.
I have acid reflux so bad. I wasn't able to drink wine anymore, and I don't do hard liquor or anything. So I was like,
well, that's good. You honored your body. Your body was telling you, it was speaking.
Yeah. And I used Chat GPT, and I found out why wine was why it caused acid reflux. And I called every winery in Napa. And I said, hey, this is the formula I want to make. This is how it has to be fermented. These are the grapes that it has to be in. Are you willing to make this with me? And I had one guy say, sure, yeah, we'll try. And we did it. It's so good. It's velvety smooth. It's the only wine I drink. And they've all won 5 awards. I have 3 SKUs now, so 3 lines. And they've all won 5 awards. And I got Women's Choice Award. So they're both.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, so what makes it stand out? But you answered that for me. So this is for a niche market too, for people who tend to be more sensitive to harsher wines. So what was
Huh? Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, so what was sort of the biggest challenge entering into the wine industry, and how did you overcome it?
I went to my first festival, right? And this guy comes up to me and he goes, oh, this is your wine? I said, yeah. And I'm super excited. I had just started at my very first festival. And he's like, you've got some balls. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, this is a really hard industry to crack into. And I'm thinking, I've built tons of businesses. What are you talking about? Right. Oh my God, Jacqueline, this is so hard. It is so hard because I'm great at building a brand, right? I've done it. And it doesn't matter how much you build an alcohol brand, you can only sell direct to consumer. And direct to consumer sales, have to still go through a bunch of licensing and regulations in only a certain states. And then when you get to the point where it's like, okay, I have these stores knocking on my door. Hey, how do we get your wine in here? What distributor are you with? And now, I've been in talks with Costco. They come back to the same thing. What distributor are you with? So I'm sending out pitch decks to all these distributors, and they're like, well, if we take you on, we want to take you on in all these states. And then you have other distributors saying, well, if we take you on, we want to take you on to these states, and they're overlapping. And right now I'm kind of at a standstill We launched in Chicago. I found a great distributor in Chicago. So I'm excited about that. I think that'll be a really good entry point for me, and I'll be able to show a demand to where people will want it in other places. So we got picked up in Texas, we got picked up in Chicago. Now I'm applying for the licensing. Girl, the licensing is like $5,000 to $10,000 per state to just sell, and you get
Yeah.
yeah, it's really, really hard. It's one of the hardest businesses I've ever had, but I love it. The challenge is so amazing. I learned how to build a brand that's a product. I learned how to navigate around, oh my gosh, everything. I've learned anything from, it's called broccoli advertising. I don't know if you've heard that or not.
No, broccoli. Oh, well, no, it sounds familiar, but I'm not recalling.
It's ads that you really can't advertise. So you really can't advertise alcohol. You can't put certain words in alcohol advertising. And then wine has completely separate laws from the, isn't that weird? Wine, beer, and alcohol all have different laws when it comes to marketing, advertising. Facebook, Instagram will kick you down, knock you off, you know. But
it seems like things are like positioned to stop us from succeeding, right? It's so difficult.
I sit in front of my computer from like 5 a.m. to God knows what time at night because I'm going, okay, I have to get past this. I have to get through this because it's very challenging. This is the most challenging business I've ever had, but man, I've learned so much. And I'm going to continue it. This is not something I'm letting go. This is something I will hold on to forever and continue to build wine lines because it was worth it.
Yeah.
All the money.
I keep going back to this quote, but it says the things we build end up building us. It's so true. That's why I think like we as entrepreneurs, there's nothing like it. Like the experience of creating something from nothing and building it and growing it. It's like you can. It's priceless.
I love that quote. It is priceless. It is priceless. I love that quote. I made a course about branding and about scaling. It's $9.99, but I'm like, that's not even a good price because this knowledge is priceless. It's the same system I've applied to every single one of my businesses, every single one from like step by step, even from creating the license all the way to where, you know, distribution launch or whatever. But it's the knowledge that you and I have gained or any entrepreneur has gained to building a business and building a brand is priceless.
Yeah, money can't buy it. It's spent in literally blood, sweat, and tears. That's how it's earned. I mean, that's the truth. Oh my God.
I know you say that I have flashbacks of like tears thinking my business is over, you know, and then the sleepless.
It's painful. It's so painful. But worth it. Like
it's so worth it. And then when you're talking to somebody who's going through the same thing, you almost want to chuckle because it's like, yeah, I've been there. It's not that dramatic. It's not that big of a deal. We'll get around it. Yeah, but you know how detrimental it is at that moment, at that time, you know?
Yeah. I also think that the stamina, the endurance, and perseverance that is developed in us prepares us to carry greater weight of success and responsibility in the future.
100%.
You know, especially as entrepreneurs, we always want to grow, we want to start new businesses, etc. So everything we're doing, I believe God is preparing us for those greater opportunities. So I love it. I'm all in.
What drove you to be an entrepreneur and have, you know, it takes a lot to be where we're at and then to continue. You know, anybody can start a business, but to succeed in it and continue to do it and fail, what gave you that? For me, I like to say this my son, for me, so I'm curious.
I believe that we have a destiny. I believe that God puts in us our gifts and talents and sort of ordains our destiny. But he also prepares us for our destiny, which is why some of us, our journeys are harder and our challenges and setbacks and obstacles are more difficult. But it's for the purpose of fulfilling our purpose. Like you're going back and you're helping the homeless. Like me, I'm also, you know, I'm in a ministry and I have other outreaches. I have a charitable initiative and I'm helping people who are also in a position that I once was in my life. So I believe it's all God given, and and destiny,
Amazing.
you know?
Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have a destiny to fulfill. And that's why the dreams we have in our heart are aligned with our destiny. And so we have to follow and pursue those dreams because they're connected with our divine purpose. So that's why for me, when I see someone who's not using their potential or their gifts, maybe they're an amazing artist and they're just are an alcoholic instead, it's so sad because if they pursued that dream and used that gift and talent, they would be amazed at who they could become and what they could achieve.
But that's why there's people like you and I here.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So tell me, what is one spiritual truth that has transformed your life or something you like to live by? Life motto, Bible scripture, whatever it is. What's it for you?
having integrity and living a full life. So no matter where I've been at in life, I can say this, like I've never stolen, lied, cheated, stepped on somebody's toes, or bamboozled somebody to get where I'm at today, and I've seen other people who that have risen above me really quickly. And I sit back like, what am I doing wrong when I'm doing everything right? I'm not doing that. And I
Right.
don't regret it at all because
No way. I say dirty money never lasts. If you
yes.
lie, cheat, steal, betray, or do any of the dark, shady, underhanded things to achieve and succeed, it will be taken from you. It just never lasts. That's why I'm with you. I'm big on integrity and honesty and transparency.
Yeah, integrity is huge, and living a purposeful life, like literally living to help other people. That is, I think that's life's secret.
Yeah, honey, you're right.
And live for other people too.
Well, I live by Matthew 19:26, which is with God, all things are possible. It keeps me in this limitless mindset to where, like, I believe in miracles and I see them. God manifests miracles in my life all the time with incredible opportunities, doors opening, things I could never manipulate, right? So for me, that's mine.
I love that.
Yeah, thanks. So what does legacy mean to you? And I know you mentioned it earlier, but what does it mean to you, especially as an empowered woman today who's successful after overcoming such hardship?
I want to leave this earth knowing that I have changed people's lives. And I want at my funeral, what are people going to say about me? And anybody listening to this podcast, when you leave this earth one day, what are people going to say about you at your funeral? How have you helped other people? What have you done for other people other than yourself? How have you helped other people grow and evolve? And for me, it's all the books I'm going to leave behind. That's my knowledge. That's my brain on writing for anybody else who wants to learn, And I want to be able to leave my son knowing that he's proud of his mom. He's proud of the legacy that I've built, and teaching him how to also help other people and live a purpose-driven life.
Oh, I'm getting emotional. It makes me want to cry because it's so powerful and it's so important that we begin with the end in mind. What legacy do we want to leave? How do we want to be remembered? Live for that, every day. So what do you believe is your God-given calling? And do you believe you're living your purpose?
Yes. So I'm going to tell you a story to kind of back this up. But December 22nd, of 2022, December 22nd, 2022, I died. Literally died. Yes. And everything happened the way it did. The timing saved my life. And it just weird. I think about everything that happened. It was my assistant was off that day. She found me right as it happened. And then the ambulance just happened. There was an ER that was not even a block away. So by the time the ambulance got there and got me to the hospital, I was already in surgery. Like, it was insane.
Well, that's a miracle.
But I was in so much pain. I knew I was dying. When I was dying, I knew I was dying. And I looked around the house. And remember, it's just my son and I. And I looked around the house. I had just gotten this huge contract with MGM. And I had 65 employees. I had 2 businesses. And my entire apartment was filled to the rim with sheets and MGM housekeeping stuff. And I just was going to leave a mess behind. And at the time, not only was I a business owner, but I was also a stripper. I was a dancer in Vegas. Wow. And I thought about, if I leave this earth right now, this is my legacy. I'm a dancer.
Wow.
Wow. And I realized what have I done my entire life other than hustle to try to make money, to try to have this Mercedes, this BMW, you know, to wear some Christian Louis Vuittons, to have my, what am I doing?
You know,
And
that is so powerful. Go on, go on.
I woke up from the hospital. I
Mhm.
spent years with my mom in the bed, and I cried. I didn't know this. Every day the doctor went in there and told me what happened, and I was on a feeding tube. I got down to like 115 pounds when I left the hospital. I'm 5'7". Imagine what
Wow.
I look
Yeah,
like.
skin and
It's
bones.
horrible. But I was on a feeding tube, and I I sat there in that hospital crying my eyes out because the doctor had given me a scar because they didn't know what was wrong with me. So I have a scar now from here all the way down to my belly button, and I lost my belly button, and I had a six pack at the time. I finally have it back, but I had a six pack and it was gone for years. Cried my eyes out, and the doctor told me, he said, "Hey, 1 in 4 people survive this," and he goes, "I saved your life." He goes, "I saved," and I didn't realize how serious it was. And when he told me that, I was like, okay. And I kept, to this day, I have flashbacks of when I was dying. When I
Wow.
was dying, what went through my head was flashbacks, literal flashbacks. You have flashbacks of everything in your life. It seems like a fast forward movie,
Yeah.
but they were flashbacks of good times. They were flashbacks of my son, my dad, my mom. I just had these flashbacks of things that I wanted to remember, memories that I wanted to remember as I was going. And I remember looking around though, and the only thing that I thought in my head was like, I'm leaving my son with this mess, and I'm leaving Earth with no legacy, nothing for anybody to say about me other than she was a Las Vegas stripper who made a lot of money.
Well, I think God saved your life. I think the Lord has a purpose for your life,
Oh,
and you
yes.
are living in it now. And there was a reason why you didn't die, you know? And I
Oh,
had a similar experience where I was also living for material things, and I lost everything in the 2008 crash. And that was when I turned to God and I said, I need your help. I finally humbled myself and surrendered to the Lord, and I asked him to start guiding me. And I've been supernaturally guided by the Lord. And I pray, and he gives me guidance and wisdom, and he's helped me build this business the right way, because I tried to build 2 magazines before and they both failed. So that's for me why now it's a spiritual journey, and my relationship with God is the most important thing, because like you, we have to live a purposeful life because God has given us this life, and it is to serve and love others.
that is a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Beautiful
How
story.
can our audience reach you and work with you? What's your website or your social handles?
Just italiatornabene.com. I have like 16 social media accounts. So just go to
Okay.
Italia Tornabene and you'll be able to see like the other ones that are tagged in there.
Well, you
Definitely.
have a unique name too, so I'm sure they can find you if they look you up.
True.
I love it. It's a beautiful name. What does Tornabene mean?
Tornabene means of good coming, good,
Oh, see, it's written in your name, darling. Good
yeah,
things to come.
yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can
Well,
bring
I love
it
you
to
so
God.
much. I can't wait to meet you. Where are you located?
I'm in New York. Where are you?
Well, Los Angeles, Southern
Okay.
California.
My
Yeah.
family's down there.
Lovely. Well, yeah, if you ever come this way, send us an email. You know, I'm editor of BeverlyHillsMagazine.com, and let's meet for a cappuccino.
I would love that.
I would love it
Absolutely love
too.
that.
You're amazing.
Reach out anytime. Thank you so much for having
Perfect. God
me.
bless you.
You too,
Jesus loves you. I'll see you soon, Italia. Ciao for now,
hon.
beautiful.
Ciao.
Bye.